Thank you. So this is how you perform regressions. I'm just going to mention a few things before I give you the short version of this, okay? When you perform a regression, this is on page 42. If you watched the video, I asked you to write this on 42, I believe. One of the blank pages. There's one later on, but regressions is you're trying to find the equation that best models the points that you're given. It's not always perfect, okay? Especially in the real world, if you were to collect data and then it's like, hey, got these hundreds of points here that I've collected, let's try to find an equation, it wouldn't be perfect. A lot of the examples I give you will be perfect, like it will actually go through every single point, but it's trying its best to find the model, okay? Some of you might use this in physics, like if you could do this, you would probably do this in physics. It has applications there. So the steps would be important. It doesn't matter that you do this first. I think I often mention to turn on plot 1 on your calculator. If you were wondering, where do I do that, right? When you press y equals, plot 1 must be turned on. Here's the deal. The only reason I ask you to do that is so that zoom stat actually works. Okay? Think about it. We're actually collecting statistics. That's why you're using zoom stats. Like you're actually finding points, and we're going to do stats later on. We're going to do statistics later on. But plot 1 allows you to actually see the points you've entered into L1 and L2. Okay, that's so you see them and you can use zoom stat. If plot 1 is not turned on, zoom stat isn't going to do a thing because it's like, well, plot 1 is turned off and I don't know where to get the points from, right? So plot 1 is the indicator to zoom stat. Okay, those are the points I'm supposed to zoom around. Okay, so that's what the main purpose of plot 1 is, to do that. So I will summarize this now. So I would say for sure keep this always in mind. You can always review this in case you get stuck. Okay, but I would say, let me just quickly check your notes here. I believe on page 50, or do you still have room on this one? I see that some of you have. Yeah, you're much better than me at at room management. This is what it's sort of going to look like. This is how much space it will take up when I give you the short version. If you can fit this at the bottom of this, then just do it there. Or else, I will ask you to follow me. I think page 52 has another blank one. Yes. So tell yourself on page 42, see page 52 for a shorter version of this, or study sheet version. Whatever you want to tell, you tell yourself on page 42 that you're supposed to get the short version here. Okay. So here we go. Let me just close a few things here. Seems a little sluggish today. Okay, so here we go. Regressions. Study sheet version. I can zoom in a bit more. And so it's going to be smaller on purpose, okay? So for quadratics, you need, I'm just going to say this because later on it will be important. You need at least 3 points, okay? That's very important. For a quadratic, for you to be able to do a quadratic regression, you need at least 3 points. For a linear, you only need 2. For a quadratic, you need 3. So tell yourself that, because later, next year, you're going to have different regressions. Okay? So then I will say, once you have your x and your y, okay, it could be time and height. Let's just come up with 3 points. Let's say this is 0, 0, 5, 20, and then back to 10, 0. Okay. I have 3 points here. 1, 2, 3. These are all points that I could actually plot if I wanted to. You're just going to tell yourself that you're going to put this into L1. This goes into L2. I'm gonna assume you're gonna know how to do this. Okay? How do I put them into L1 and L2? Go back to page 42 to remind yourself of that. But that's what I mean. This is a very short, concise way of doing that. Then you're gonna press Stat, Calc. You're gonna select Quadratic Regression. This year, all we do is quadratic regressions. Okay. Then you should see, okay, should see this on your screen. Quadrag. Okay. What are you gonna feed Quadrag, folks? You're gonna feed it L1. Comma, what's that? Yes, that's right. L2, comma. Those commas look weird, but I do want them to stand out because a lot of students forget this part, the commas, and then they just get an error message. Okay? And then Y1. That one I will actually reference how to get the Y1. Did I mention that in the video? I hope I give you the short version of it, which is alpha trace. If you press alpha then trace, you're going to get Y1. By the way, you could put it into Y2, Y3, whichever Y you prefer, but in general, we're going to want to put it into Y1. Okay. So this is what you should see on your calculator. Then enter. Press enter. You should see y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and then it just continues. Let me zoom into that a little bit. I know some of you are squinting right now. You're like, it's too small. I'm almost done. I kind of messed up on having the alpha trace take up this side portion, so I will redo alpha trace right above here. So my bad, because I want to show you the plot one. I would like that to be on here as well. Just alpha trace to get the Y1 there. And then to graph, plot 1 has to be highlighted. Right, plot 1 highlight, then press zoom followed by zoom stat. This is I would say regressions is a must on your study sheet. You're gonna forget by the time we do all the other units and it's time for right, review or whatever. You're gonna forget, like, I kind of remember what regressions are, but how do you do it on your calculator? This should be it. Okay, and then adjust window as needed. Okay, that's actually a very important, because some students just think zoom stat is going to do everything for me. No, it's not. Okay. If we turn on plot 1 for regressions, okay, that means that it's going to be off anytime you're not doing a regression. Okay, and some of you are only going to find out when you're trying the graph. Like, let's say I give you an equation, right? I say y is equal to this, this, or this, right? You type it into y1 manually. you're going to try to graph and you're going to get some kind of error message. Window range or this or that. Chances are you have plot 1 turned on and it's not supposed to be. Right? If you're manually entering something into Y1 by hand, this should not be turned on. Only if you're referencing points, right? You're saying, hey, I have these points in L1 and L2. I'm going to perform a regression, plug that into Y1. The calculator is putting it into Y1, right? By the way, if you ever go to Y1, that equation is like huge, right? It's like super long because it's using every single decimal. That's how I want it to be. Okay, I want us to use every decimal possible. Okay, so I will just on this I'll see more details. See page 52. So this is gonna be an endless loop, right? Go see 42. My bad, 42. Yeah. Under, oh, sorry. Like that. Here, press zoom. So you press the zoom button, then you press zoom stat. Yeah. And we'll do a couple more today so that you don't forget how to do this. Okay. How many points do you need? At least 3. So don't tell yourself only 3. If I give you 20, then you have to use all 20. I won't, right? I won't. But you need at least 3. But more is actually better. It's going to be more accurate. Okay. Okay. That is it for the review on regressions. Now, I would say this has to find itself onto your study sheet. Okay. Minimum. If you'd like to have more detail, feel free to do whatever you must. Okay, but this is sort of how I would envision it, just to give you a bit of a basic foundation, right? Okay. Okay. 1 second here. So make sure you pay attention. Back to study sheet entry for this. I'm thinking you might have to review how to get to L1 and L2. I don't know. So I would just press stat, right? To get to L1, you press stat and then edit, right? That's how you get to L1 and L2. So I'll go stat, edit, right? Kind of circle this in to get to these two here. Maybe you need a reminder of that. So there it is, one more time, right? In addition to that, this can fit anywhere on your study sheet under quadratics. I will say this, okay? The vertex, okay, could be stated like this. Vertex is 6, -10, let's say. Okay. This gives you the equation, right? Axis of symmetry. If I ever ask you that, you just say x is equal to 6. Okay? This gives you the equation of min or max. There is only one. Yeah. That's just it, because I want you to know which one is it. One is not applicable, the other one is answerable. Okay. So regardless, it would be y is equal to this. Okay. It would be, so those are two equations. Think about it this way. If this is your parabola, it doesn't matter, right? There's the axis of symmetry, and there's a horizontal line that also both of these go through the vertex. This would be the equation of what? Min or max? It's the highest a parabola ever goes, so it's max. Okay? If you have another one like this, and your parabola goes up, the axis of symmetry is still the same. But in this case, this would be equation of min. So I think some of you, because these are, in my opinion, quote unquote easy marks, okay? Because because let's say you get your vertex wrong, you lose -1 right away. But if I see you use this number for your axis of symmetry, or that number for your equation of min and max, you get those marks, right? So in my opinion, those are easy marks. So this should be also added to your study sheet somewhere, okay, to make sure you know how to answer that, okay? All right, let's go over the AC here, and I'm gonna go tediously in detail. So if you already know how to do this, I apologize. But if it says state the equation of the quadratic or perform a regression, I will show on my work. Right, that is part of showing you work. Like this goes into L1, that goes into L2. So I'll go ahead and do that. Stat edit. I showed you on the video, I hope in the lesson I showed you, you go to the top, you hit clear, enter. You go to the top of that one, clear, enter. That clears everything that's in there. Did I show you if you accidentally delete a column, did I tell you what to do if you delete a column in the video? Yeah, so let's say you go and press delete instead of clear, you literally got rid of L2. All you need to press is stat, setup editor, enter, enter, and it's back, right? So there you go. It's all back, restored. If there were values in there, those will be restored as well. So let's go ahead and enter these values. Please take an extra second to just double check you entered them right. And you didn't miss one. Because that is a common mistake. So 5, 7, -1. I would say this should be a non-issue. You typing in the wrong values, that should not be an issue anymore. So just double check, and they match. So there we go. Before I graph, I'm going to go y equals, turn on plot 1. I'm going to just clear everything that's in the y's, just in case. You can hit graph if you want, but I'm going to go zoom and then select zoom stat. In this case, it does a pretty good job. What did I forget to do though? I never performed a regression yet, so now you're just seeing the dots, right? So part of my work to come up with the equation, all I want you to show me is stat, calc, quadratic regression, and then it should go y is equal to something. So let's do that. Stat, calc, quadratic regression, second 1, comma, second 2, comma, alpha trace, y1. So I want to paste this equation into y1. Hit enter. You do not want to touch anything right now, because as soon as you enter something else, this disappears. So you just go 2 decimals. You know what? I'm going to go 4 decimals just for some of you. My key will have probably more than just 2 decimals, just in case you chose to go more than 2. That is okay. As long as it's not money, you can do more than 2 decimals as long as it's rounded correctly. This counts for grade 12 as well. Okay? Money is the only exception. It has to be to 2 decimals. And then minus 10.1726. Okay? So if you did 4 decimals, this is what I would look for. If you did 2 decimals, this first one should have been 0.2, right? This rounds to 0.20. So it's up to you. That's what you would get. You would get full marks in that case still. What's the vertex here? Let's see. I'm going to graph it. And you see that it doesn't perfectly touch points, but that's the best it can do. Let's find the vertex now. Second trace. In this case, it's a max. This is my vertex, somewhere to the left, folks. You can go as far as you want, but make sure you're somewhere to the left. Just press and hold. Go to the right. Enter, enter. And so it's negative. This one I saw quite a bit, so you just go second, trace, max, okay? Negative 11.86, 17.93. That is the vertex. Equation of the max, y is equal to 17.93. There is no minimum, okay? That one does not apply. The x-intercepts, I let y2 equal to 0, and then I go second trace intersect, right? So y2, 0. And this is, I can see everything. Zoom stat did everything here for me. It's a perfect, the y-intercept. The y-intercept is missing, I know. But for now, I'm just going to work with it. I'm going to go closer to that one. That's close enough, by the way. Enter, enter, enter. So that's negative 21.34. Negative 21.340. That's one of the x-intercepts. Now I'm going to find this other one, second trace 5, one more time. I'll tell you a little secret here. If you don't want to go over the hill, you're lazy, you go arrow up or down, jump to this line, and then just cut straight across. So it doesn't matter which line you travel on, up and down arrow jumps from one line to the other. And then hit enter 3 times. Okay? That's negative 2.39. You don't need to show the keystrokes again because you already did that. So these are my x-intercepts. State them as a coordinate. Don't go x is equal to because then it's an equation for us. I know intro to applied and pre-cal, you did it that way, but we're applied now, right? So I'm getting you ready for grade 12 applied, so we do things a little differently here. State the y-intercept. You either notice that this is in general form, that is going to be your y-intercept. If you completely miss that, your calculator comes to the rescue. Second trace 1, let x equal to 0. However, I don't see it, so I'm going to change my window real quick. I'm going to change my x max to, let's say, 10. So I see more to the right. I want to see more to the bottom. So window, y min, go negative 20. And so now you see it crossing here. So second trace value, x is equal to 0. And there it is. It's negative. You know what? I'm just going to state it because I'm just going to assume you didn't use your calculator for that one. But if you did, it doesn't hurt to put down your keystrokes. Okay? State the domain, not a word problem. So it's either this or you can say negative infinity to positive infinity. That should also be a non-issue. Domain for a non-contextual. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Thank you. I missed the line, folks. Here we go. This was supposed to go here. This is the axis of symmetry, which is directly related to the x value of the vertex. So thank you. That should be that. That is an equation. Okay. State the range. This one is, if you look at your calculator, it goes like this, right? So this is the highest y value. So this would be y is less than or equal to 17.93. Because that is the y value of the vertex, right? Or you can go negative infinity to 17.93, square bracket around the 17.93, round bracket around the negative infinity. Calculate y of x is equal to negative 3. You would use this function here, second trace value, x is equal to negative 3. Second trace value, and you got to press in negative 3. You can't go minus 3. So that's 2.24. Okay, y is 2.24. In this case, it's okay because you're telling me what the x value is there. Okay. If y is equal to 6, calculate the x value. So you let y2 equal to 6, second trace intersect, y2 is equal to 6, and there are two instances that happens. Okay, so here you got to go second trace 5. I'll find this one first. That's negative 4.13. And second trace 5. You can jump lines. I'm going to go arrow down, jump to the red one, cross over. And that'll be negative 19.59. Okay. So those are the two x values that we're after. And the reason being is if this is y is equal to 6, okay, y is equal to 6, you can see that there's one x value there and another, so there's two options for that. Okay. All right, so here's the transition. You're still with me, right? It's important. This is important that you know how to jump from one thing to the other. This equation, I'm assuming the first thing you're thinking, I type this into y1. I hope that's what you're thinking. Okay, let's do that. Whatever you're doing right now, drop whatever you're doing. I clear everything that's in there. I'm going to turn off plot 1. That is what I want you to learn here. Why, Mr. Dirksen? Because you're not using L1 and L2 anymore. Someone did that for you. They came up with the equation, right? So you type that in. Make sure you don't forget the squared. And you get that. So we're going to figure out the maximum height here. Hit graph. I would hit enter and then graph. Not bad. This actually did it for us. I can just change a little bit of the y max of my window and I have the curve. I'm going to try zoom stat. Zoom standard. I'm just going to find my standard window at 10 by 10. Okay, now I'm going to increase my y max. Go ahead and do that. You should do this with me. What value should I put in there? I'm going to go 50. Why 50, Mr. Dirksen? I don't know. I just don't want to play around with it too much. So I'm going to jump quite a bit. And there it is. I see everything I need to see. So find the maximum height. That's the vertex. Second trace. We're talking a word problem here, right? Maximum height. It's not just a random y value. Enter, 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 right? There's your vertex. I'll write that down. I'll go second, trace, max, then I'll write down the coordinates of the vertex. 35 if you round it. 26.99 if you round that. Is that a good answer? No. I need to know which one is it, and it's this one because height is my y variable is height. So you can just say like this, 26.99 units. We have no idea what the unit, like is it feet, yards, meters, we don't know, centimeters. So just put units and you're safe. In fact, if you didn't put anything, you'd still be safe today because we didn't specify. How long was the projectile in the air for the previous question? So it's asking for, by the way, is this starting on the ground or off the ground? On the ground? Correct. How do we know that? The y-intercept is 0, right? So we know 0, 0 is part of this graph. So we know that this is happening here. So we want to know this right here, like how long did it take to hit the ground? So we're going to go y2 is equal to 0. Graph it. Second trace 5. I'm taking the long way. That's okay. Enter, enter, enter. That's 4.69. So I'm going to go y2 is equal to 0. Second trace intersect. And that's 4.6. I don't know. Units? Is it seconds? Probably. Probably seconds. Oops, sorry. There you have it. Okay. All right. So I turned off plot 1, right, for this one. You get to keep this one because I have more where that came from. What I want you to do is, I'm not sure how far you got. So pages 49 all the way to 51, right, is what I assigned. Wherever you left off, I think I did 49 on the video. So you want to continue 50 and 51. So I'll just say that one more time. 49 to 51 should be completed. If you're done that, okay, if you're done that, you can try page 60, I believe. There's a word problem with an equation provided, if you're done everything already. But I would say 49 to 51. So you've got 20 minutes of class time. Use it, right? And the keys are posted, so you can go check it out and ask me for help. Okay, go ahead. All right, thank you guys. Tomorrow, different regression. Be right there.